And I say it's the daily go get 'em. You think it ain't when it is? Uh, we are here and we are in motion. We do this thing and taking off fast lane, no coasting, and everything is going to be all right. We talking about cutting off sex in the middle of a relationship tonight. What would you do if they cut off? If whoever you were with, whoever you was kicking it with, whoever you were in a relationship or a marriage with, what would you do if they cut off sex in the middle of the relationship, in the middle of the marriage, in the middle of the situation? And I'm talking about a sexually active situation. I'm not talking about a situation where y'all wasn't really doing nothing anyway, or where y'all were half-ass doing something anyway. I'm talking about in the situation where y'all were active, where y'all were really getting into this thing, where y'all were already hot and heavy, and somewhere down the line they said we gonna cut it right there, gonna cut it right there. We can't go no farther. Right there, it's like Monopoly. Don't go. Right there, go to jail, sexual jail. There, you know, nothing can compare. Not happening no more. No more in store. Don't look forward to putting your pants down. You know how it goes down when you come around. I know that it was like that before, but you ain't getting this thing no more. No cookie, no nookie, no. Yo, you can call your bookie because you can gamble and bet that you won't get wet. You can gamble and bet that you won't get wet. You can gamble and bet that you won't get wet. Because no more sex for me, you're going to get. It happens. You know, we can play around with the situation. We can act like it's really not what it really is, but it is what it is. And there have been plenty of times in a situation that was actively going on where, for whatever reason, for sometimes spiritual reasons, sometimes for developmental reasons, sometimes for medical reasons, sometimes for what you might call vengeful reasons, sex can get cut off in a relationship. But how would you handle that? What would you do? Or for some people, I might have to ask, what have you done? What have you done in relationships in the past where sex was cut off? And I have to ask that because there are some people who have experienced this multiple times. I know people who have gone through this multiple times where they have been in relationships with people, and right there in the middle of the relationship, sex was all of a sudden a no-go. You can't get no mo. And you know, the person had to make a decision, and an executive decision at that. Do you stay? Do you go? Is it gonna be all right? Is it gonna be all right? And that really is a serious decision that you have to make, because you might really like a person, you might really love a person, you might really want to still be involved with a person, but you know, shoot, cutting off sex in the middle of a relationship, especially in a sexually active relationship, especially in a sexually active relationship with people, both people in the relationship are young, are virile, and are sexually active and experienced. It might be hard to just accept that if that's not something that you would want to do. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight on the Daily Go Getimism Show. What you know? What do y'all know? Make sure that y'all, when y'all come on up in here, do the right thing. That's hit that like button, share the show, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, because this is going to be hot tonight. We're going to turn it up a little bit. We're going to think about some things in a way that we might not have thought about in a while for a little bit. So let's get it popping. Urban Therapy with Sun 752 with this your daily. The Daily Go Getimism Show. We do this every single day. Every day it rains. Every day it rains. and the DG will do the same. We break it down, baby. Every day it rains, and the DG will do the same. Every day it rains, and the DG will do the same. Every day it rains, and the DG will do the same. Every day it rains, and the DG will do the same. I am your host, Sun752, aka Omar, with the. And if you can't say Omar with the, well, then you just say Omar with the R. This is the Daily Go Getterism Show, all up in your area. I'm feeling like a real man should, and I hope y'all feeling like real men and women should also. Tonight on the Daily Go Getterism Show, we are asking the question, we are talking about if they cut off sex in the middle of the relationship. Here you are, not in the beginning of the relationship, not at the end of the relationship, not yet, but right there in the middle. And what you might even describe as the prime of your relationship. What would you do if your partner came to you just as you were about to approach them about getting into a little something, and they told you, well, listen, we have to talk. And they told you, well, listen, I don't want to have sex anymore. Maybe they say that they've had a spiritual awakening. You know how some people find God. They may have been on a spiritual journey while they were in a relationship with someone, and they want to live out and abide by the religious principles of whatever faith that they follow. So in the case of Christianity, maybe they said that they don't want to live in sin anymore. So until they get married, they don't want to fornicate anymore. They don't want to have sex before they are married. So from here on out, please bear with them, because they might not be ready to break up, and they might be very expectant of you to fall in line with what they are going through and what they are requesting or demanding or pushing forward with or without you. Because oftentimes that's the case. Oftentimes it's the case where they're saying to you, well, yeah, I'm not having sex before I get married, no matter what you say. Now, whether you approve of it or not, I hope you do approve of it, because these legs ain't flying open no more. I'm not pulling my zipper down no more. Because, and I have to say it for both genders, because it's not always a woman in a relationship who is quote unquote pulled this type of stuff. However, in most situations that I know of, it has been women who have pulled this kind of stuff, but not 100% always. Definitely not 100% always. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go all the way out, and I'm going to say that it's very suspect when a man says that he doesn't want to have sex with his woman anymore. Honestly, if I was a woman, I would be very suspicious of what his motives was. If he said he didn't want to have sex anymore until y'all got married, like, wait a minute, dude, you've been trying to break my back and pound my pelvis. You've been trying to break my back and pound my pelvis bone out, all of this time. Now all of a sudden you want to straight put on the brakes. Stop. In the name of nuts, I don't want no more buzz. Stop. In the name of nuts, I don't want no more buzz. Put your clothes on. Put your clothes on. And I have to say that I would be suspicious of a man who cut off sex suddenly, because a lot of times men are doing that for some either some controlling reasons. not that women aren't interested in control, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. That just seems a little suspect for a man in the first place, because often it's a man that wants to initiate the sexual part of a relationship in the first place. Once again, not all the time. There have been plenty of women out there who was tugging on your zipper and telling you, "Well, listen, I'm not going to be with no man that ain't doing it to me. I got to feel sexy. And I can't feel sexy and desired and wanted around a man who don't even want to, who he not trying to beat me over the head with a club and have his way with me. What kind of man are you? Call yourself a man? You ain't a man." So let's talk about it, y'all. Let's talk about it. T. Carey, right? Morning, noon, and night. It's always great to have my people going directly into your site. And Stacey White, what's going on? Things were coming on through. Appreciate you. And my brother from another mother, Norris Hill. Sit back, relax, do your thing, Max and chill. And my brother, Ansel Jones, Baltimore brother. Girls can't leave him alone. What's up, y'all? Tonight we're talking about if they cut off sex in the middle of a relationship. What would you do? Now, we were talking about what if you caught somebody on a spiritual journey, like maybe they went to church or studied the Bible or were deep into their spirituality to a certain extent when y'all first met, but maybe as the relationship went on, they really started to get into God, and they really started to follow the principles of their faith, and they really, and let's say they really believed in this kind of stuff. You would be amazed at how many people might be sexually active and feel guilty about doing it. Many people believe that having sex before marriage is a straight up sin. And they really feel like they're going to have to repent for that. And they really feel like they're going to have to pay the piper at some point, by God. They think they're going to have to feel the wrath of God for having sex before marriage. So marriage is supposed to make everything okay. Look, whether you agree with it or not, whether you understand it or not, it is what it is. And some people really adhere to that. And I have to say that that's something that has to be respected. However, your human interaction also has to be respected. Now, in a situation like that, where a person was on their spiritual journey and they decided that they didn't want to have sex anymore. Maybe they had an epiphany. Maybe they had a calling from God. And many people believe that God speaks to them, not just speaks to them through people, through situations, and through spirituality, but there are many people who believe that God talks to them straight up and down. Now, you might think that they're crazy. A lot of people think that that is real. Whatever the case may be, we have to pay respect to that in terms of whether we are going to deal with them or not on their level, where they are, because where they are is where they're going to be. And if they have gone so far as to cut off sex in the relationship, then that is going to affect both people in that relationship, and maybe some people who are involved in a relationship in some type of way. For example, if you have children in a relationship, or if you were already married, but you believe that sex should only be okay for the purposes of having children, for the purposes of procreation, because that's the way the Catholics carved it out. That's what Catholics said. Even when you are married, you're only supposed to have sex for the purpose of breeding, making, and giving birth. For the purpose of making children. So every time you lay down with your wife, with your spouse, it's supposed to be for the intention of making a baby. That's what the good book says. That's what the word says. So once a woman has conceived in a marriage, y'all ain't supposed to do it no more. That's it. That's it. I don't care what the doula said. I don't care what the midwife said. I don't care what the doctor says, because the doctor says you're supposed to keep doing it until the baby pops out, because it's supposed to actually, widen the birth canal and make it easier for natural birth. But that's a scientific thing. And science and spirituality don't go together. Science don't care about spirituality. Spirituality be thinking that science is hating. All right. So what would you do in that situation? You wait. Maybe you had waited until you got married to have sex, and then when you got married, your wife said, "After I get pregnant, we ain't doing it no more." So you ain't getting no more of this pregnant nookie. No, you ain't getting none of this pregnant cookie. You know how wet the cookie get when it's pregnant, though. It's almost heaven sent. Ain't nothing like it on the rest of the world. You know how it go. You know what I'm talking about, my girl, and men know it too. And that's why they be having so many kids with you. But anyway, what if? I know for me personally, I would have to look. I'm gonna keep it a buck. This couldn't happen to me. I ain't gonna front for any reason. This couldn't happen. Look, if we in a relationship and we ain't having sex, we not in a relationship. So whether I say it or not, you take that part out of it. Trust me, everything else is coming out of it too. That's whether I say anything about it or not. But that's me. You can call me selfish, narcissistic, whatever. I don't really give a shit. I'm not being in a relationship with a woman on a platonic level. That's me. Not a relationship that I'm already in, that we already been having sex with. And like, it's not going to happen. So I don't care what happens, other than the fact that the doctor said, listen, if you penetrate that, she's going to die. Like, I get it. But you didn't say that she couldn't give head, right, Doc? You didn't say that she couldn't receive head, right, Doc? But see, that's me. I'm, hyper masculine, selfish, all of the negative things that go with sex, as far as men are concerned. That's me. That is me. But I am also a very understanding man, and a very rational man, and a very curious man. So I would have to ask myself, and I would have to ask you, or what I would have to take into consideration is, all right, if you're cutting off sex in the middle of this relationship, let's say because you were on a spiritual journey, and God called you to not have sex anymore. I would have to ask myself, how soon was it that we had sex in the first place? Because I would have to recall that, because that would mean a lot to me. Like, if you were the type that made me wait 6 months, a year, or whatever, then it would kind of make sense that somewhere down the line, this cutoff probably would make sense, because you was already slow getting to the plate in the first place. You were slow to get, to step up to the bat in the first place. So why would I think that, that things would be that different going forward? Now, I do consider that to be a form of control. When a woman holds out for, I don't know, 90 days, 180 days, or whatever. I consider it to be a form of control. Out the gate, you're already letting a man know what you will and will not do, with his permission or his blessing or his acceptance or not. You're already setting the sexual standards up front. Now, you can say whatever you want to about it. I consider it to be a form of control. Many women have gotten away with it, and rightfully so. It's like a discount. It's like a discount on something, on any product. It's great if you can get it. If you can't get it, then you have to pay whatever it costs. All right. But if something like this happened to me, I would have to ask, how long was it before I got the ass in the first place? You know, if we met each other on the 5th and we was already in bed with each other by the 12th, so then I don't know, a year later, 2 years, 3 years later, you're telling me that we can't do it anymore until we get married. And I'm like, now let me get this straight. Let me get this straight, sugar loins. Because I know that you enjoy sex as much as I do. So this is going to be a challenge for you just as much as it is for me. So I'm going to start getting curious. Like, what's really going on here? Because she ain't that religious. Many people go to church and they still, they got hoes in the church. We all know church wouldn't be church without hoes in it. For some people, it ain't nothing but a meet and greet with God overseeing everything. And I'm not saying that your place of worship is actually set up that way. I'm saying that in a lot of people's minds, that's how they look at it. So, history would definitely be of the utmost importance for me if all of a sudden sex was decided to be cut off. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm about to be out, but I'm still going to take these things into consideration. The next man might stay. The next man might be more understanding than me. But it would have to be the next man, because this man is. But like I said, I'm selfish and egotistical and narcissistic and all that old good internet psychology stuff. All of it, the whole thing. I own it. Okay. Ansel Jones says people in life for reasons and feelings get hurt when their plans change. Okay. He also says everything on the dating application was never completed. Well, if y'all been having sex, evidently some body language on the application was already completed. It was completely understood. Communication is key, though. In every relationship, I believe that communication is key. You have to communicate with your partner. You have to, if it's somebody that you like or are deeply involved with, or someone that you claim to love, why wouldn't you talk to them about what's going on? Why would you try to blindside them with all kinds of really far-reaching changes in your relationship? I mean, how fair is that? That don't sound fair to me at all. That don't sound fair to me at all. But I can't live everybody's life or live anybody else's truth. I can only live my own life and live my own truth and try to live in the truth of whoever I'm involved with and whoever is involved with me. So I do believe that a man and a woman should really talk things out about the direction of a relationship that they're going. And if a person doesn't want to talk to you about where y'all going in life or in love, then I mean, what choices are they leaving you with? What choice? So, okay, that's the God scenario. Let's go to a more understandable for some people and more sinister scenario. Not that I don't think that even the spiritual reason or the spiritual scenario is a little suspect, because I do, but don't get me wrong. I'm suspicious of people's motives all the time, man. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. I'm suspicious of people. I give people the benefit of the doubt, and I take away the benefit of the doubt with them all the time. So y'all can't think like me. I can't think like y'all. But let's go to a situation where there was cheating, infidelity in a relationship. What if a man cheated on a woman and he got caught? He got caught cheating. And the woman caught him, his woman caught him, I should say. And afterwards, she couldn't trust him anymore. She didn't feel like she could trust him. She didn't feel like she could trust him with her heart. She didn't feel like she could trust him with her health. She didn't feel like she could trust him with her body, with her future, with a whole lot of things. And maybe that totally turned her off. So what if, listen, they could be married in this scenario. They could be in a serious relationship in this scenario. Whatever the case may be. What if she says to that man, you're going to either have to work your way back up to us having sex again, or look, I'll let you know when I'm ready again. But I'm not ready. You already disrespected this temple. My body is a temple, and you disrespected this temple. You put my life, my health, and my heart in jeopardy. So you haven't shown any respect for me, and I can't lay down with you in circumstances like that. Now you know many people have gone through this. Many people have gone through this. And even in situations where there was suspicion of infidelity, people have gone through this. So many women have thought that their man was cheating on them, and they pulled back. Well, no, he acting funny, he acting different. I found evidence, that he's cheating. I may not have caught him in the act, but I know that something is going on, and whatever is going on is not what I like to be going on. So he won't be biting on the chocolate chips in this cookie. He won't be biting on the chocolate chips in this cookie until further notice. Well, what about that, y'all? What about that situation? What about that scenario? What would you do? What would you do? Many of y'all, one of y'all, somebody has probably been in these situations, because these are just life situations. It happens. Sometimes it happens when you're younger. Sometimes it happens when you're older. But I'm not going to say that these situations aren't escapable. But if you are faced with these types of situations, what would you do? What do you think that you would do? Oh, y'all a little quiet. I'm surprised. Y'all a little quiet on this topic tonight. Interesting. I don't know. Maybe the wheels are turning. Maybe y'all doing something else while y'all watching the show. But I'm gonna tell you like this. Once again, I think that communication is the key. And if it's a situation where you don't feel like you can trust somebody, you need to let them know. You need to let them know, like, listen, you betrayed me, you stepped out on me, you disrespected me, and it's hard for me to become aroused, excited, or be eager or willing to get in bed with somebody who I don't feel wants to be exclusive with me, or seems to not care about my love, my heart, or my health. So I think that you should communicate that. If you're going to cut off sex, even if you feel like you're justified in it, I think that you should let your man or your woman know. I think that that's a fair thing to do because when we're talking about forgiveness, and oftentimes when we're talking about infidelity, we're talking about forgiving. Like, are we still together or aren't we? That's the question you really have to ask. Are we still together or are we not? Because if we're not together, then we don't have a whole lot to reconcile. Maybe you want closure or something like that. You know how people be throwing around that word closure. Closure. They be throwing around the word closure. Closure. Well, my thing is, are you in this relationship or aren't you? Because if you've moved on, the other person that you've moved on from deserves to know if you have moved on. Now you might say, well, did they let me know when they was messing around on me, when they was going behind my back, when they was cheating on me? They didn't let me know. So why do I have to let them know that I'm moving on? Well, that's understandable. That's an understandable way of thinking. But I would say that I think it's dangerous and irresponsible to turn into somebody that you disrespect or that you don't have any respect for. Like, if I don't like what you do, why would I duplicate what you do? What's good for the goose is good for the gander? Really? This is when you want to take on that type of thinking? Hmm. I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't sound like a good look to me, but you know, we know that people do this, and this conversation, this show is not going to stop the rock. But I do think that if you feel like you cannot be physically involved with a person that you are still you know relationship linked to, I think you should let them know, well, look, you can't get no more of this until I feel comfortable. Now I understand if you don't want to adhere to this, shoot, you already been cheating, so maybe you should go ahead and prolong this process by going out and doing what you was doing. But you can't get no more of mine until I feel like I can trust you again. I don't think it's wrong for you to express that. But have you if you have caught the person that you're dealing with cheating and you decided to stay, well, are you staying all the way or are you half staying? Ain't no half staying, but we know it is. Ain't no half staying. Narcil says insecurity and speculation would come into play, and sometimes it's irreversible. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. I just think that it's the right thing to do to let somebody know. I mean, you still hold the cards. Now, this can be a tight situation because, quite honestly, there can be situations where you love somebody so much that you may never feel like you're in a power position to move. Love in the heart does a crazy thing. It's not always on your side. Your heart is not always on your side. It doesn't always have your back. And it's hard when your heart doesn't have your back. You understand what I mean when I say that your heart doesn't always have your back? I mean, like, sometimes your feelings are so strong for a person that no matter how much they use and abuse you and hurt you and disrespect you and disregard you, your heart is still like, yeah, but I don't want them to leave me. I don't want I don't want to lose them. I'm just not in a position where I can afford to lose them right now. I feel like I'm on the brink. Well, I think that if you're strong enough to cut off sex, then you're probably strong enough to be able to leave a person altogether. But that could just be my thinking. I might be invoking too much logic into this situation than what the emotions say. Because, like I said, sometimes your heart doesn't have your back. Sometimes your heart doesn't have your back. Your heart might front on you. What do y'all know about your heart fronting? Fronting, I tell you, fronting. Has your heart ever fronted on you? I mean, y'all can tell me, or you can at least tell yourself. You can at least tell yourself. Hold on a second. Sometimes I have a thought and I want to make sure that I don't lose it. I want to make sure that I don't lose it. So yeah. Yeah, sometimes your heart doesn't have your back. But if you are strong enough to be able to make a move by cutting off sex, I'm thinking that you probably are strong enough to be ready to move on from that person if they don't follow your instructions or bend to your whims or show that they are as understanding of you as you have tried to be understanding of them. Now we all know people who, if you cheat on them and they find out that you cheated on them, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. I would go as far as to say that most people don't break up over infidelity, not initially. But there are some people that, yeah, we out of here. I know plenty of people who will tell you, if you cheat on me, don't worry. You ain't got nothing to worry about with me no more. Like, having sex with me again is the least of your worries. Because I'm out of here. And I mean out of here. I mean out of here. I mean out of here. 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 I done already broke the lease. Out of here. Out of here. Out of here. Out of here. Yeah, got me a new place. Out of here. 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 You won't see me no more. It's not out of the realm of possibility or understanding or discussion. But some people that I know, they'll tell you straight up and down. The worst thing that you can do is let me find out that you've been stepping out on me, because you won't have to worry about me no more. No more. No more. No. And it is what it is. It is what it is. Okay. So when we're talking about if they cut sex off in the middle of the relationship, is that acceptable? Is that an acceptable scenario for y'all? I'm really surprised that y'all not yakking it up in there. People in the background, is everybody just scratching their head over this one? Is it taking you back to another time, another situation, another scenario? My past love when I was younger. When this happened when I was a teenager, I found out that he was messing around with here I was, living this love and basketball life, and He was messing around with a cheerleader. He was messing around with a cheerleader. He was messing around with a cheerleader. But I was messing around with a basketball player. But cutting sex off in the middle of a relationship is a serious situation. And that's not to say that sex is the most important part of a relationship. But people trying to downplay sex like it's not an important part of a relationship, they need to stop all of that. They need to cut all of that shit out because those are lies. Those are lies, big lies. Big lies. Sex is just as important in a relationship as love and affection and support are in a relationship, especially a relationship that has sex in it. If you're if you're cutting sex out of a relationship that didn't have sex in the relationship in the first place, then you probably haven't done that much. Like, for example, if you was in a relationship with somebody and y'all already hadn't done it, or maybe y'all only did it one time before or something like that, and you said that you didn't want to do it anymore, or you set some type of parameters or guidelines or whatever, then that's not going to be that much of a shocker. It would just have to be a situation where somebody would have to make a decision about whether they want to go farther with you or not. But they can't say that you really cut anything off because you wasn't doing nothing already. Have, like, brothers, all right, Ansel, Nars, have you ever been in a situation where you had sex with a woman only like once or twice, but for some reason you couldn't string along uh, 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 a series of sexual encounters with them for whatever reason? Maybe they lived out of town. Maybe they worked a lot. Maybe they were involved with somebody else. Maybe you were. Whatever the case may be, you weren't able to have sex with them in any type of pattern, type of ways. Have you ever been in a situation like that? I have. It was like for some reason you couldn't nail them down. You know, you couldn't get a series. You had a you might have had a couple of one-offs, but you no series, no series. Ansel Jones talking about something. Not leaving a paper trail. Why your call history always empty on your phone? Ansel, you check phones? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. A phone checker? Phone checker. Microphone checker. Phone checker. Microphone checker. Well, in a situation like that where you've never established any type of pattern or any type of real, yeah, you haven't established a sexual relationship with somebody. If they've decided to not have sex with you anymore, you can't really, I mean, you could feel some kind of way about it because maybe you really enjoyed it, and maybe you could take for granted that they didn't enjoy it, or for whatever reason, for whatever. Um, uh, it can throw you off. But I'm talking about, what the heck? Oh crap! I could have sworn I could have swore I could have swore. That's weird. That's weird. Very, very weird. Hmm. Hold on, y'all. I don't know. I gotta do something. All right. Anyway, yeah, I'm talking about situations where when you are definitely in a romantic relationship, you're definitely in a sexually active relationship, and somebody cuts off sex. There seems to be a double standard because if a man cuts off sex in a relationship, you know, his woman is definitely going to be looking at him sideways. Like honestly, if a man just all of a sudden stops having having sex or stops wanting to have sex with his woman, unfortunately, it might be looked at like this dude might be gay. Just keeping it a buck. He might be gay. He might be infected with an STD that he might be trying to cover up until he can get it cleaned up. Oh yeah, it gets ugly. It gets ugly. Understandably so. Carol Chamberlain, me friend, me favorita, and Shirley Sherrill, the world's most precious and greatest pearl in the world. Shirley Sherrill, the world's most precious and greatest pearl in the world. What's going on? But yeah, in an established relationship, if a man cuts off sex all of a sudden, yeah, we're gonna be looking at him sideways like, I mean, me being as stereotypical as I am, I'm probably gonna be thinking like you, look, like if my sister came to me and said, listen, my man or my husband or whatever said he don't want to have sex, he wants to cut sex out of our marriage until we get right with God or something like that. I'd be like, look, first of all, go to the doctor, see what's going on with this boy. Make sure whatever he got, you ain't got, because he might be burning and just trying to cop a plea until he can get something cleaned up, or you'll find a way to break the bad news to you. Other than that, you might want to find out what's going on with him, because he probably look, he fucking somebody. If he been doing it to you for all this time, hot and heavy, regularly, and all of a sudden he don't want none, all of a sudden you don't do it for him no more, well, check his bull, because his bull might be doing it for him now. I'm just keeping it a buck. That's what I'm going to be asked. That's what I'm going to be telling my big sis. Like, yo, something ain't right. He lying about something. I could see if it was a situation where maybe he was stressed out, going through a depression, was experiencing erectile dysfunction, but she would already know that. Like, yo, has he been limp dicking you? Has he been limp humping on you, for a while? Because he might just be trying to get over the hump or get over the lump, get over the limp. I got to 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 get over the limp. When the syndrome is around, don't let your guard down. His joint is too limp, he can't come around. Hey, on guard, protect yourself. Let me see. Nar says with one-offs or twofers, I can see the off ramp. I still see the off ramp. I understand. I do. And Cheryl Hudson says, especially if it was good, you'd be like, oh, really? Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's suspect. Red flag worthy. Red flag worthy. Red flag. Something is going on. Something is going on. Narcille says, I just thought of UTFO's line in Burning Bed. Willie's on fire. Willie. I know that's something, Willie. I told you, leave that bitch alone. I told you, Willie. I told you. Now, you would be familiar with that UTFO album. Out of all the UTFO albums, that's the one you, man, you know, that's why, yo. You look like something left over from a cookout, Willie. Fire. Willie's on fire. Okay. All right. Cheryl Hudson says the explanation would have to be stated. That's what I'm saying. Because how can you let the lines of communication break down and at the same time you taking away a major element of your relationship? And once again, I'm not saying that sex is the most important part in any relationship, but if it's any part of a relationship and it has been thriving, you haven't had a lot of problems related to that part, how are you just going to cut off something in the middle of the relationship and not give any type of reason or explanation? Or even if you give a reason, how can it be not agreed upon by both parties, but you expect both parties to honor the disagreement? Honoring your disagreement. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, 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 wow. Honoring your disagreement. Well. Mr. Honoring your disagreement. Man, listen. Man, how time flies when you're having fun. How time flies. See, the thing about any of these situations that we're talking about is that they become tough situations because you're not on the same page with these situations. You're not on the same page with what y'all with one person's trying to propose. Now, both of y'all decide that in the middle of y'all relationship, y'all both have a spiritual awakening, and both of y'all say that God says that we can't fornicate anymore, so we got to get married on Friday. If y'all both good with that, then cool. Cool. But for one person to decide that no, we ain't having sex no more, then I just don't see how that can be acceptable. That ain't acceptable. Now, the selfish people are going to say anything is acceptable that I say is acceptable when it comes to my body. Because you know how women get. Not all women, but a lot of women get. You know, they be like, this is my body, and I decide what's best for me. Now, if you ain't with it, then you ain't with it. But if you going to be with me, this is the way it's going to be. This way, this way is what you're going to have to bow down to. This is what you're going to have to agree or disagree with. And if you agree, then we going forward. And if you disagree, then I holler back at you when you feel better about it. It's tough. Make sure y'all hit that like button, y'all. Make sure that y'all share the show. Make sure that y'all subscribe to the channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, We're about to do these birthday shout outs. Let's get it popping. We have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious February 22nd, they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special because they are special because they are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They get number one out the box. Go get her, April Jefferson. Happy birthday to you, Abril. And also Rachel Hector, turning 33 years old today. And Tina Jenkins, turning 46 years old today. And Hervé Semexant. And I guess in Spanish, it's like semejant. Okay, whatever. Anyway, my auntie Tina Neal turning. My auntie talking about she turning 25 years old today. I am diggity done. Happy birthday to you, auntie. Also, Dwayne Yergin turning 46 years old today. Happy birthday to you. And my girl from around the corner, across the street from the projects, good people, my girl Delvia Berean. Delvia, oh, you know what? I didn't know y'all was sisters. Okay, that's what's up. Happy birthday to you. And last but not least, Camille Burns. Camille, turning 53 years old today. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all and anyone else out there who shares this birthday on this glorious February 22nd, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out, rock on it, do the damn, the rock out, rock on it, do the damn, rock out, rock on it, do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember, man, listen, if you're going to cut sex off in the middle of the relationship as if you wasn't in a relationship or as if you're in total control of the relationship, it might be the thing to do if your health is concerned, if your heart is concerned, if your well-being is concerned. Nonetheless, communication is the key. And if you are in a relationship with somebody that you cannot even communicate with effectively, then you're not really in a relationship that you probably should be in. I mean, if you can't talk to your man or your woman, then who are you going to talk to? If your man or your woman can't be a hell of a friend to you, if your man or your woman is not in your top 5, no, your top 3 friends list, and I mean, I'm not talking about social media. I mean, in your real world, if they're not in your top 3 of your best friends, I don't know what to tell you. Because I know I ain't having it. You know what I'm saying? Your woman, for a man, should be, ain't that the one you pillow talk to? Ain't that the one you snitch on all your boys to? Ain't that the one you tell about all your crimes and all your little, talking about sex, all your little freaky desires and all your little, you know, things about you that you wouldn't want nobody else to know? Ain't that who you talk to? If it ain't, you with the wrong one. You need to go and get yourself a hooker that you can talk to. Anyway. Peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death. Resuscitate y'all and love y'all right back to life. We will be back tomorrow for another daily Go Get-Emism show. So, Blog Talk, we gonna get you out of here. What? Yeah. And for my YouTubers, you know just how we do, but thanks for coming on through. See you on the other side, my boobers. Don't forget to hit that like button, share the show, and subscribe to the channel. I holla. Peace, y'all. Peace.